There's a saying that I use a lot when I'm speaking about a hard situation. You may use it too. You will hear me say, that's a tough row to hoe. Unless you grew up in the country, you may not know exactly what this means. It's an idiom that was used a lot in the early 1800s when our country was agrarian. And to answer your question, no, I was not a farm boy in the early 1800s. Perfection is a tough row to hoe, and the idea of perfection keeps many from following Christ. It is the trick of the devil to tell a person that he can be a follower of Christ and then remind him that he can't be perfect. That's a very long road to hoe. But there's good news. God's not looking for a few perfect people. He's not even looking for a few good people. His desire is for a person who will seek his heart, even with failure of his or her record. David was such a man. I thank God that this story is included in the Bible in all of the ugly details. David was a man who had a tough road to hoe, but always was seeking God's heart. His testimony is recorded for us in Acts 13. God removed Saul from being king in Israel. And according to Acts 13:22, he raised up for them David as king, to whom he also gave testimony and said, I found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, who will do all my will. Now, we know David was not perfect. Some of his rows were very crooked. His sin includes what we would call biggies like adultery and murder. But even in the midst of his failures, he was constantly seeking after God's heart. David's conscience was always working to draw him back. We see this in big and little ways. Once David caught Saul in a cave. Saul was unaware of David's presence. Saul was on the hunt for David. He had come to En-Gedi with 3,000 men to seize David. In a somewhat embarrassing predicament, Saul had entered the cave to answer the call of nature. While there, David slipped up and cut the corner from Saul's cloak. But we see the immediate heart of David. In 1 Samuel 24:5, it says, Now it happened afterwards that David's heart troubled him because he had cut Saul's robe. Herein lies the proof that David was a man after God's own heart. He could not get away with even the smallest stuff without conviction overtaking him. Quit trying to be perfect. Quit trying to make every row tough to hoe. Give God all your best, and when you fail, repent quickly. You too can be a person after God's own heart. Sounds like good advice to me on this Monday morning, the last day of February. God bless you. Have a great day.